Let's go ahead and we'll open up the meeting. This is the budget meeting. Richard, take it away.
Okay, one thing I'd like to have you do today is let's set the date for the public hearing. I'm thinking June 15th or 16th. If that date works for you, check the calendars on that, and that would give us 2 weeks to have your budget discussions to figure out how we're gonna get this balanced. We could do the 15th or the 16th. We can go and get that advertised. Now we have notified 10 days in advance, so we'll have to get it advertised this week or the first of next week.
I'm good with either day.
Both days work for me.
Both.
We need to do that in the evening, probably, so your
Correct.
citizens can attend.
That's
Which
6 or
day
5.
works?
Is that 6 or 5?
No, we normally do it about 6.
I'll do it about 6, give people time to get home.
Which day?
The 15th is better for me, although either one will be fine.
Saturday?
Yeah, let's do the 15th. If Alex, you want to check yours or at 6? Yeah.
I can do that.
15th, 6 o'clock.
Then we'll need to set a couple of dates for some additional budget meetings, but we can do that at the end if you want to.
Yeah. We're gonna have some discussions.
Yeah. If you'll turn over to page 83. Starting in the golf course budget, this covers a full year of 18 holes. And there's definitely more cost for personnel, more cost for chemicals, and basically more cost for everything you do, because you are gonna be maintaining 18 holes, and we hope we'll have a significant increase in the number of rounds. I think this budget's based on about 22,000 rounds of golf, we hope. So that's sort of average what we're doing before the storm. It's not an aggressive number, but to get the course open for 18 holes, that's that's what it's gonna take to hit those 22,000.
What are you charging now?
So that rate varies, but like the senior rate's 45 Monday through Thursday. We charge 55 Friday, Saturday, Sunday right now. We're doing a little bit of a discount rate off what our actual rack rate is, because it's hard to charge a full 18 hole fee to have people go around 2 times for the folks that choose to do that. So the rate last year was 65 on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 55 Monday through Friday, but we've had to back off of that, or excuse me, Monday through Thursday. We've had to back off that a little bit.
So you're looking to go to 65?
I'm looking to go to 70. Yeah, so it'd be $5 increase there, but we're going to see about a $7 APR increase. That's average per round. If we go with these rates that I'm going to present, and that it comes to about $154,000 extra in revenue on 22,000 rounds.
Okay, I'm maybe jumping ahead, so let me back off and get back.
All right, I'm gonna turn it on to Brent, kind of let him hit the highlights of the budget.
22,000 rounds.
Sure.
Is that? I mean, what's your highest year that you've had since you've been here?
So the last full year we had before the storm, we did 32,000 rounds, but that is cumulative rounds. So that's 9-hole rounds, walk-in rounds, 18-hole rounds. So you have to average that down somehow. So it's 22,000 18-hole rounds at that max APR.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that number would have to be lower,
Yeah.
and you'd hit that higher. It's just easier to come up with your actual number if you.
So you took 32. which
Parse
is
it
the
down,
highest we had in the.
Yeah.
Before, and
And that was 32,000 of all those types of
then
rounds.
18, 9.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Did you get mine in there?
I did. Yeah, just you in every time you go across that tee.
You didn't go enough, though. You need to hit it.
Yeah, but that.
Okay, so really salaries, you know, we've got 3 full-time people up there. That's probably not gonna change in this budget cycle, most likely, so, we can't really do much about that. Salaries part-time, that is increased a little bit, mainly because we're trying to have rangers out there to better watch the course. And also, we've never actually covered, in the budget for like my vacation time, because when I'm gone, that means double the people that are there, you know, that day. So we have to budget for that. Otherwise, we're always going to fall short, you know, in that budget, or I just literally never leave, which is kind of what's happened for the last few years, but, it is what it is. So that number really isn't going to change much. There's no increase, in pay there for any of those positions. Obviously, the rest are just fixed costs there as you go down through, your overtime, longevity, social security. Get to the next page.
Brett, how many part-times did you have? I didn't get that number.
So right now I've got 11 employees that are part-time, and they just, you know, that's a mixture of rangers, cart staff, and shop staff. We just rotate, typically 4 in the shop and 3 on carts.
And we got plenty of materials, oil to change the oil.
We will July 1. Yeah, we're going to get into that. Right now, we're having to pull from like every budget just to cover contract services. We ran out of contract service about, I guess it's been about 6 weeks ago. Or we probably say, but so yeah, I mean, we're having to actually pull from multiple categories, which doesn't allow me to buy things that I don't have to have right this moment. Uniforms, there's no increase there. Professional license certificates, that's going to be Jerry's spray license. That is kind of a fixed cost that stays roughly the same each year. It might go up $5. Continuing education, so that is going to be to keep our pesticide license for Jerry and Carson. Jerry's most likely going to be retiring next year. I'm going to have somebody who can spray. So keeping Carson a license is going to be important. Utilities, you know, those are again fixed costs.
Contract services there.
Oh, yeah. So contract services. So the reason that's increased, and this is the one that we've been out of money on the sheet, it's showing 64,000, but we're actually well past that now. We've been pulling off of credit card processing fees because we're going to come in well under budget there. But the reason this is increased is mainly because of the presentation I gave you guys a couple of months ago. So to operate 18 holes properly, it takes a little more staff. And we're also going to have to pay a little more. We're paying First Incorporated $15 an hour right now for those folks. And I've got this budget at 5 part-time seasonal employees at $20 an hour. So that increases. And then as well as reel grinding, we don't have a reel grinder anymore. Right now, our greens mowers the reels need to be ground, the fairway mowers need to be ground. So we have to hire that out. It's expensive. It's not as expensive as a new reel grinder, but that's really our only option. So that's an increase in that cost. Aeration continues to climb. We have to do that twice a year. So that's an increase in the cost. So
What does an aerator run if you were to buy one?
if we were to put one,
New and used.
we would have to have a tractor that could run it. So you're looking at probably $50,000 for that size of a tractor, and then
We have a tractor in there that's 30 horsepower.
not one that's gonna run those tines. That's the problem. It's a big pull behind.
What kind of a horsepower does it take on?
I think it's like 65 horse that the one that they come out. It's a large tractor.
But anyway, even if we had,
You'd be about $100,000, I'm guessing, to buy the whole
so
setup.
the aerator is 50,000.
The aerator's about 50,000. If we buy a used one, if we buy new, it's going to be more than that. But I don't think we should buy new. I think in that case we buy used.
Yeah, it looked like 2.5 years we got one paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The other factor though is we don't have a top dresser. They provide all that. We don't have a core picker. They provide all that. So there's multiple things here that's required in staff as well. So
That's the reason for the questions.
yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. You're seeing a big increase in contract services. It's just it's how we have to operate right now without much staff and without a maintenance building, without a lot of our equipment. So
You got one big item in there, processing fees for credit cards. Of course, I would assume that most people pay with a credit card.
It's the number one way to pay for sure. I mean, I see maybe 5 or 6 people pay with cash.
I would
Each
think
day.
it's maybe, I mean, that's an item that we need to look at because it's an item we need to be looking at in the water
And we're
department
bringing that
Yeah.
back to you at the June meeting.
Yeah.
Consider.
as to whether or not to go ahead. That may be
Yeah.
just to make it a little more palatable for the golfers. It may be better to charge $71
Sure,
than 70, and then you don't charge them a processing fee.
sure.
But then that way we're covered because it looked like 22,000 rounds. Some would be 9. So if you're looking at 30,000 rounds, $1 a round, that's going to cover that cost.
Sure.
Okay.
Would there be any benefit in looking at that credit card processing fees sooner than the June meeting, assuming we're doing more budget meetings in the next couple of weeks? And it would
Yeah,
help
we
you,
probably do.
Rick.
I mean, we've got most of the information together, Greta, so
If it's,
maybe next week if you
I
set a
wonder
budget
if it's
meeting.
helpful to go ahead and start, I'm making a guess at where we'll land with that, to go ahead and factor that into everyone's
Yeah.
budgets.
But I would say one thing, whatever you do, you need to be consistent across the board. You can't say, let's do it
Absolutely.
for this one, not do it for this one. So,
I will say too, that there's some rules that you have to stay within, otherwise it'll trigger an audit. So like if somebody's card gets charged, the fee that I'm guessing maybe we're talking about proposing the customer paying this fee on the system. If it's a debit card and you happen to run that through and charge them the fee, you're in trouble. That's a problem. So there's certain things that as we do this, everybody needs to be aware of as far as charging customers processing fees.
Sure, and education to
Yeah.
folks that are,
Yeah.
that are doing those, yeah.
I think I would agree with Councilmember Barry that I think there's a likelihood that we might be charging that, and if that's the case, then we should probably do that before we finalize the budget, before we get to
Yeah.
the point where.
Yeah, I'd like all the department heads to have time to factor in any change.
Mhm.
and you got software changes you gotta do, you got contracts, you got signs, you don't just do it overnight. It take
Yeah,
a few months to
I
get.
mean, if it's possible to look at that next week, that would be my preference.
Yeah, we can do that.
So technology software license, that's pretty much for our irrigation system. It operates through a very complicated computer system. This keeps the service up on that, so that's what that fee's for. We always budget a little bit more because if we have a breakdown, it costs us money, and we can't afford to have a breakdown in irrigation. So utilities, electricity, again, fixed cost. I think the same thing as we go down through the other utility costs. Let's see, R&M building, so that's gonna be repairing some things around the pro shop, around the cart maintenance building. We have some issues with the roof there that we're gonna try to address in this budget if we can.
Probably got some work at your grill that you need to do in the fall.
Yes, I
She shuts down, so.
think, would that fall?
They can do a little more in that.
I think that would fall on rental facility expense. Is that right? We got 4,000 is what we're looking at. I don't think 4,000 will fix everything. The floor system has been in a bad way for a lot of years. It was never fixed when they did the big renovation back in 2011. So
We're talking about joists or we're talking about surface.
there's a little bit of both. So we did have a guy come in and repair some of the joists a couple years ago. So I don't think there's a fear of those giving way, but certainly soft floor. So your subfloor, and then it's got the vinyl stick-on tiles. Those come off. So when the substrate gets wet, those won't come off.
You've got good expertise as your dad taught you well.
Yeah.
So what are you looking at on that? Can you get that done for 5,000?
If we do some of it in-house, we certainly
Okay.
could do that for $5,000.
So you're proposing, we'll have more detailed conversation about that in the fall, or
Yeah, we'd have to do it in the winter when she could
shut
shut down because
but kind of
she
scoping the work in the fall, looking at additional expense over what's budgeted for?
yeah, I mean, I think we're trying to be conservative here because we don't know what this is going to look like, and we don't know if we're going to have 18 holes July 1st. So to really budget for that, we'd probably need to throw maybe 7, 8, 10 grand into that account to fix all of these issues. I think if we could get into the season, we had 18 holes going, we'd have a better idea by fall what revenues would look like.
Credit card processing.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have enough savings there, I think.
R&M, excuse me, where are we at? R&M equipment. So this is working on our equipment. Our equipment runs, these are the mowers, tractors, track hoes. These are things that run all day, every day. We live in a very undulating, or we work on a very undulating golf course. These mowers take a beating, so we're going to have breakdowns. They're very expensive when they break. You know, a real break sets $1,500, and it happens more than we would like. But it's just a cost that we have to be able to cover. And then the golf carts are included in that too. Our golf carts are hitting year 6 right now. That means things are starting to go out on them. The batteries are going out on them. So it's just, you know, it's just, I think 28,000 is probably, we'll be lucky if we get out for that, but that's what we're going to try to do it for. Maintenance supplies, materials. So this is going to be our aerating sand. It gets more expensive every year. We do have a little bit stockpiled. So this year, we're not budgeting quite as much because we should be able to carry over in the fall aeration without needing to get a full amount of loads. So that'll bring that cost down just a little bit. Office supplies, we do pretty much everything on the computer now, so we don't have a ton of office supplies. Janitorial supplies, again, that cost, we're trying to keep it down best we can. Chemicals and chemical products, this is an important one to not cut too much because the more you cut that one, the worse the golf course is going to look and the lower the revenue numbers are going to be. That's a spot where I would advise against cutting if we don't have to. Technology supplies is just in case one of our computers goes out. Hopefully we can buy one for $1,000. Especially the operating supplies, these are going to be things like tee markers, flag sticks. We're going to be due for tee markers for sure. Typically costs a couple $1,000 to outfit the whole course with. And then flags, there's always a broken flag or something happens. Those are $150 a pop. So it adds up pretty quickly. Purchases for resale. This is one of those where obviously the more I have in the shop that I can sell a lot of profit, you know, that's a spot where really, if we're busy, the more we spend here, the more we end up making on the budget. Because I typically try to see at least a 50% profit on everything that I buy. And then non-capital equipment, we are looking at purchasing our Ventrac out. The lease ends in August. This is a really good price for that piece of equipment. It's only got 150 hours on it, and it's kind of a do-all piece of equipment. We can trim the creek banks with it if we get like a sickle arm. We can get a contour mower where we can mow around the greens without damaging the turf the way the larger mowers do. We can actually buy an aerator that fits to it. So it's a piece of equipment we'd like to keep if possible.
Old Creek Banks is music to my ears. A lot of people play golf.
Yeah, I mean, so we've been trimming. We've got a guy, Mike, that is with a contract employee that has been working really hard on the back nine. If you go out there and look, we're still keeping a certain height so that we maintain some root structure because we don't want to lose the banks like we lost them before. That just all heads down to Lake Tomahawk, and then we don't have Lake Tomahawk anymore. But we are trying to keep it down where folks can see each other from different tee boxes. It makes it safer, and then find their golf ball. So, and it speeds play up.
It looks good back there.
It's improving, isn't it? The leased equipment, this is our, mowers, everything from John Deere. And,
And we got 2 months for that tractor. We gotta pay July and August, so we got that budgeted. So we can buy it in August.
fuel costs, this one maybe worries me a little bit. So the reason the numbers are lower here is because we've been operating this 9-hole course. That number's gonna climb, this year as we see more rounds as an 18-hole course. And fuel, you know, nobody knows what it's gonna do, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna drop rapidly, if at all. So that could be a cost that this might not cover. Safety and compliance, that's going to be fire safety. The rental facility expenses, where we're talking about working on the floor system there at the grill. And then on capital outlay, we're needing to do some cart path repairs. We've got that covered in here. If we had to cut a little bit out of that, I still think that we could do some of our cart path patching. But that's not cheap. We do have to have somebody come in and do that. So those prices sort of fluctuate based on how much we actually have done.
When are you planning to do that?
Well, when I know if we're going to have 18 holes and I can get somebody to start coming in and pricing these, because a lot of the repairs are on the front nine.
Mhm.
We do have 3 places really on the back that need to be hit. And we could do that for, I'm going to guess, about $5,000 if we just did the back, but the front's a little more expensive.
Part of that
is-
would end up being, are you gonna go ahead and be cutting some of the roots going along?
100%, because if we don't, we're wasting the money because it's going to
Be sure that was taken
buckle
care
right
of.
back up.
I think one thing y'all will consider, that, if you do increase rates, a portion of that should go back into capital costs. Kind of like if you want to install a pump at that pump station, so you can pump when you don't have water in
Mhm.
the lake, that's gonna be, what, 50 grand?
Where are
So you
we
need to put that in
with
consideration.
our request for TDA?
So we made it through round 1. They picked us to go to phase 2. But we had to have this phase 2 application in by July 15th. We've already started on that. So
And how much are we asking for?
about $1.5 million. It's a match. So our maintenance building is $1 million of that because we've got $1 million in hand. And they're counting everything that we spent in our repairs from Helene already, which is we're at about $260,000. So they will match up to 1.5 because that's what we put in the grant. If we don't hit that mark, let's say we only made it a match to 1.3, that's what they would pay out. So we would have to spend some more somewhere in this budget year, really before September when they start paying out. I think we'll probably get to 1.3 if we do the cart paths. I don't know.
Fixing the 2 bridges.
Yeah, so the bridges for sure, they would count towards that. So we might make it to 1.5.
And is that 1.5? Would that be just for the maintenance building, or is it?
No, so that money, I basically had to present a plan to them of what we would do with this money. Some of that would have to go to cover the additional cost of the maintenance building as the building is proposed right now. And then the rest could go towards anything that's course improvement, rebuilding greens, rebuilding tees.
Great. Okay.
Whatever we saw fit that was going to make the golf course better and draw more tourists to the area.
And the revised sketch plan of the maintenance building and the cost estimates will be completed and will be presented to you at the June 8th meeting. Good.
Well, it looks good. I just think that with the fact that the other 2 costs, and there's no, when is Broadmoor looking to open up, or is it?
They've pushed back. This rain messed them up a little bit, but I think they're coming up pretty quick, probably early July.
We're gonna have to compete with them then.
In a sense, we are, but the cost there is going to be so high. It's going to be well over $100 to play there because the casinos has spent a ton of money out there. That's where That's where their financing is coming from. So if you look at the way Sequoia National operates, that's Harrah's golf course. You know, it's $150. This is going to be similar to that. So
It's
I
a
don't-
different type of course.
yeah, I don't necessarily know that they're going to be a huge competitor of ours for just daily fee play.
Two entirely different types of course.
Yeah,
Well, we just get this thing of, looks like that Scott was saying that, Sammy's met with him and looks like we.
should be on go with that
long way.
quickly.
Hopefully we can just get Medlock out there and do what engineering needs to be done, which shouldn't need to be much at all. Get these bridges done.
I agree.
Any other questions you got for?
Thank you, Brad.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, turning over to page 87 is your transfers out. The town pays a portion of your planning and zoning budget. A large portion of that's covered by inspection fees, which covers the cost of your building inspectors and all that cost, but your zoning administrator, your administrative assistant and your planner, those costs are basically paid by the town. So your contribution to that budget as it's based right now would be $241,916. The fire department budget, the town pays 61% of the budget and Buncombe County pays 49%. So that, so the town's contribution to the fire department budget for this year would be $2,008,285 that you'll share for that budget. So. Any questions on that? All right, moving on to page 88, I'll ask the chief to come up here. I mean, Buncombe County splits their share into two different sources of funds. They pay, their estimate this year is $1,118,699 based on the fire tax district revenues. Now, they also share a portion of their sales tax revenues, which comes out to $360,000. So if you take those two numbers, that you add those up, that's what Buncombe County's contribution, or the 41%. That's what they're paying for the fire department. Now, if you look at the bottom of the page again, our share is the $2,008,285. Now, we get a little money out of, what county's Marion in, McDowell.
McDowell.
Then we get a little bit of money from that tax district. Now we get a couple of payments in lieu of taxes of $14,000, and you get a $50,000 contribution from the fire district state insurance distribution. Your fire code inspection fees, you're generating we've estimated next year to be about $20,000. That could go a little higher if you look. Notice the 24-25 budget, you had about $14,000 in fire inspection fees. This year, you're already up to about 27,000. So, and then you have $11,000 off duty staff. If you send firemen somewhere else and they get paid for their service, we estimate you'll spend about $11,000 on that. But you get that $11,000 back. So it's basically, it covers the cost because you're going to charge whoever you're doing that service for that same cost. That doesn't cost you anything. It just, you know, it's,
So whoever,
it's a
whoever
watch.
the entity is that is served.
Yeah. I mean, they pay those fees.
Did I hop back to inspection? Fees, do we have any insight about why that number changed so drastically or
So
maybe you add some context anyway?
So basically since we have the part-time fire inspector as well, their schedule is a little better. It took some time when the current fire marshal was hired to get everything in order, to get the inspections on a proper schedule.
So there's a delay.
Yeah, there were some properties that hadn't had inspections in years that were discovered. The other thing is the in and out moving of businesses. So sometimes you might have a business that comes in, it gets inspected, then it leaves 6 months later, someone else comes in. Well, that's another inspection for that property. So there's lots of variables, but they're being more diligent in making sure the schedule's followed and the follow-ups and re-inspections are being done in a timely manner.
What's it, reinspection every other?
Well, a re-inspection is when a property fails its initial inspection. But it depends on the occupancy of the property, whether it's an assembly or business or institutional, on how often it gets inspected. So it could be once every year, once every 2 years, or once every 3 years, depending.
And we set that cadence or the state?
The
does?
state,
Yeah.
it goes by a state schedule,
It's inspected
recommended schedule.
every year.
Now,
It's
we,
inspected every-
businesses,
Schools.
schools get inspected twice a year.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't make one note in there, Tommy, if you add expenses for, each dollar, consider Buncombe County's covering 41 cents in a dollar. If you cut cost, then you're losing that 41 cents, so.
Well, a portion of it.
But you lose 41 cents every dollar you cut, you lose, 41 cents, so.
Of their contribution.
What is the rate? Our tax rate, the county, what the county charges,
10.69.
10.6.
What currently is 10.69. That
What
is,
is this proposed?
It's just going up, right?
yeah, it's going up. I'll say I can't remember the number.
14.
Yeah, it's 14 something, but I can't remember that percentage. Jimmy, do you remember? 14.6. There we go.
So that
But all that goes into a big pot in Buncombe County, distributes based on the needs of each department.
Yeah, the way it works now with the unified tax district is everyone turns in their budget, their fire department budgets, then that gets divided by the amount of taxpayers in the county, and then that's when that's how the tax rate is set. So that tax rate would fluctuate yearly.
And I think we've been approved for like $1.7 million at 1.65, but you don't have enough, at the time expenditures to meet the total match. All right, if we turn over to page 91. I'm gonna sort of let the chief go over his, what he wants to highlight.
Council, before I begin, there has been some spirited conversations amongst staff, amongst community and staff members. And there's just something that I wrote that I'd like to read to council, if that's okay. Members of council, I fully recognize the gravity of the financial challenges facing the town of Black Mountain. And I understand that this budget cycle will require difficult choices and sacrifices across every department. As fire chief, however, I have the responsibility to clearly explain the real world consequences that reductions in fire department staffing will have on public safety, firefighter safety, emergency outcomes, insurance costs, and long-term financial stability of the town. Our current staffing model consists of 3 shifts operating 24-hour schedules, with each shift staffing 2 engine companies, have 4 firefighters roughly per engine. This is not excessive staffing. This is the minimum staffing level necessary to safely and effectively provide emergency response for the community of our size and complexity. When staffing is reduced, emergency effectiveness declines immediately. Fire suppression is a time-critical operation. Fires double in size rapidly, and every delayed task increases the likelihood of civilian injury, firefighter injury, and total property loss. Adequate staffing allows crews to simultaneously perform critical life-saving functions such as fire attack, search and rescue, ventilation, pump operation, rapid intervention for firefighter rescue, exposure protection, and incident command. When staffing levels are cut, those tasks cannot occur simultaneously. Crews are forced to choose between protecting lives, containing the fire, or ensuring firefighter safety. That delay directly lowers the probability of success for outcomes. Reduced staffing also places firefighters in significant greater danger. National Fire Service standards exist for a reason. Firefighting is one of the few professions where understaffing can become fatal within minutes. Smaller crews experience greater physical exhaustion, delayed rescue capability, and increased operational risk, and reduced situational awareness. Quite simply, fewer firefighters on scene means greater danger to both responders and citizens. Staffing levels also directly affect the town's ISO rating. The ISO evaluates staffing, apparatus deployment, water supply, communications, and overall fire protection capability. Staffing reductions can negatively impact our ISO classification that carries financial consequences far beyond the fire department budget itself. A lower ISO rating means insurance premiums for homeowners, businesses, and property owners throughout Black Mountain. And businesses already struggling economically would see operational cost increases. Families already burdened by inflation would pay more for homeowner insurance, and commercial development becomes less attractive. In effect, reductions intended to save money within the municipal budget could shift substantial financial costs directly to our citizens and business community for years to come. And council must understand that this decision is not solely about reducing departmental expenses. It's whether the town is willing to accept the increased emergency response risk, lower fire ground effectiveness, greater firefighter danger, high property loss, increased insurance costs for taxpayers, and the reduction in business investments. This is also a critical workforce issue that cannot be ignored. The town has already invested heavily in the firefighters we currently employ. Each firefighter represents thousands of dollars in training, certification, equipment, onboarding, and operational experience. Firefighters today are required to meet increasingly demanding state and national standards, and these are highly trained professionals who carry certifications in fire suppression, rescue operations, hazardous material response, emergency medical care, and countless other additional competencies. If compensation does not remain competitive, we will lose these firefighters to neighboring departments that offer substantially better pay and benefits. At present, Black Mountain firefighters are among the lowest compensated in the county. They remain here largely because of the strong culture, the loyalty, and the bond they have with each other and with the community. But loyalty alone cannot overcome economic reality forever. If the compensation gap continues to widen, these firefighters will understandably make decisions that are best for their families and financial futures. Once experienced personnel leave, replacing them is neither quick nor inexpensive. Compounding this challenge is the national decline in available volunteer firefighters. The volunteer model that many communities once relied on has changed dramatically. Modern training requirements, certification standards, liability concerns, and time commitment makes it increasingly difficult to recruit and retain capable volunteers who can function at the level required during today's emergencies. Recruiting volunteers is also a financial gamble. The town must invest heavily in equipment, protective gear, medical clearance, and extensive training before a volunteer becomes operational effective. Even then, there's no guarantee they'll remain long-term. Volunteers remain valuable and appreciated, but they can no longer reliably replace fully staffed career personnel in the modern emergency response system. The reality is simple. We cannot cut our way to a safer community. The decisions council makes during this budget cycle will directly shape the future safety, financial stability, and emergency preparedness for Black Mountain. And staffing reductions may provide short-term budget relief, but they carry long-term operational, financial, and human consequences that can impact every citizen in town. My responsibility as fire chief is to ensure that the council fully understands those consequences for making decisions that cannot easily be undone. All right. You're welcome. So to go over the budget, we were looking at salaries, and as Mr. Hicks had informed you, the last meeting is there has been payroll and budget discussions and a pay study done by the county over the past 2 years. A lot of the funding with the Unified Tax District was going towards payroll and benefits for firefighters across the county. It's a little different because we are a tax or a fire district that covers two municipalities and unincorporated county. And so the funding, as you know, is different for us, where the neighboring departments are fully funded through county funds. So they're able to make those decisions a little more easier for them when it comes to the payroll and benefits. Right now, we're about a $2,000 gap in between the next fire department as far as pay. We are the lowest paid in the county. But come July 1, if those other fire departments do get their requests fulfilled, we'll be roughly $14,000 behind. And Mr. Hicks,
That's a tremendous job.
it is.
That's,
A 700% increase.
and I suspect most of them are gonna get what they're asking for because of the new, tax district rate. Was it Weaverville has 7 vacancies?
Yes.
So I think they're raising theirs because they were losing people, but they're gonna put. That'll probably put them in that 14,000.
Yeah.
Plus range.
So just informing you on the payroll portion there.
Does this budget have any increases in payroll for the firefighters or no?
No, not yet.
No, that was one of the requests, was for the town to consider being competitive, as well as allowing me to offer certification bonuses. Our deputy chief has done a tremendous job in ensuring the education of our firefighters. We have probably sent more people to advanced training than historically than in the past for this department. Only because there's more opportunities that are available to us now. The other aspect of that is we encourage the higher education as well. So as these firefighters are obtaining their college education, it broadens their minds to pursue other things that benefit the town for overall safety. As you very well witnessed during Helene, our people worked diligently and were very effective. They worked very hard for this town. And in my opinion, I'm not going to take away from other departments, but they really busted their hind ends that day, and they did an excellent job.
To be anywhere competitive within the county, what sort of salary increases, like percentage wise, would get us there, do you think?
What's your basic fireman now? 50,000?
48.
Yeah.
48 is what the current is.
What you got,
That's entry level.
you got two below 50 and everything else is above 50.
Yeah.
You got 2 at 49.
But a
Starting pay everywhere else is
They
about
start
50.
at 48, but after they are on.
Their 6-month probation, they
That's
get
salary increase.
And
But you probably couldn't hire anybody at that rate right now.
Right.
That would be difficult.
And right now, we're full staff, and we've been full staff for almost 2 years. I'd hate to break that streak. Especially all the time and money we've invested in these firefighters.
Keep in mind too now, if you add to your budget for salary adjustments, keep in mind Buncombe County's gonna pay 41% of that for you.
I'd like to see some examples of what that would look like,
Yeah, I'll have something
if you
for
could
you.
prepare that, please.
So going down for our pay and benefits is nothing's really changed from last year. The part-time part-time's the same, overtime. We asked for an increase there. Hold on, trying to get my bearings on this. I didn't bring my glasses. All right, so Social Security, retirement, that doesn't change. That's all based on the figures in front of you. Firefighter pension, that hasn't changed. That's based on the number of members that we have. Here's where we really start, and I'll just hit the ones that I'm asking for increases on. Everything else that hasn't changed, we'll just go by. So for uniform costs, there's an increase in uniform costs. I do have that spelled out.
Let me go
In
back over
detail.
here and just one thing.
Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead.
I want to find out, it's this thing here, the North Carolina firefighter pension. We already have that we pay into employee retirement contribution. We play that in two separate things. And so what is so where does that money go to?
You pay into a state fund, after,
20 years.
yeah,
After 20 years of service, they're
They get
fully
a-
vested and you don't pay into them anymore.
a state retirement check, like,
$180 a month.
yeah.
But that's
That
for,
money goes to the state manages that retirement fund. You put in your 20 years of service, you get $189 a month from the state. It's, you've been paying into it for years. It's not anything new.
no,
Yeah,
this is-
just asking what it was.
Yes.
And that's what it is. It's a,
What it was.
Chief, what about the part-time folks? Examples, your part-time, they get the auxiliary folks, but part-time temporary salary from 51,101, salaries part-time. I was just curious about trying to think through who that is, your part-time people.
So the part-time people, because these guys work 24-hour shifts, they accrue comp time faster than most. And we can only, you can only accrue so much part-time or comp time before we have to send you home. Well, when we send a firefighter home, that puts us at risk, so we have to put someone in their place. So,
Maybe somebody from the Solanoa Fire Department.
yeah, there's other firefighters from other stations that work part-time here. You also, the council before I got here, it allowed a part-timer a day to work and supplement of a full-time equivalent.
So we don't use any volunteers on.
We don't have any volunteers that are eligible.
Meeting with required training.
We have volunteers, but the time that it takes to be eligible to be a structural firefighter, it's countless hours, and most of the volunteers we have are more support roles. And the majority of our volunteers are the retirees that,
If it's just a support role, it still requires some time.
yes, still requires at least 36 hours at the bare minimum just to be able to maintain on our roster.
Right. It's a state requirement.
Yes.
My son volunteered at in Old Fort.
Mhm.
And I was, that I was made aware of it, which is even to be a support person, if you you know, if you're a volunteer and you got family and so forth, 36 hours is a lot of time for training if you're working and have other things to do, you know, so is that all? I mean, going back, if you went back 30 years ago, was it a lot easier to be a volunteer?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So I thought that's the reason you had.
Priorities have changed.
What's that?
Priorities have changed.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I'm guessing some safety standards as well.
Yeah, and then the way it goes for us is we get volunteers, they go through the training and then they make it a career. So they leave us and go get a job at a full-time fire department. So. Volunteerism now is more a gateway for the capable volunteers, is a gateway to full-time employment, so.
Tell us about the uniforms.
Oh, so. All right, so the increase in the uniform costs is mostly because of turnout gear is incorporated into that. We have some sets of gear that are reaching their end. They're good for 10 years and then they have to be replaced. We try to ask for turnout gear every year, not only to cycle it through, but to also create a cache of turnout gear for when we do get volunteers or new staff. It takes a couple months once we get a new member, whether it's part-time, full-time, or volunteer, to have that gear properly fitted and ordered. And if we're lucky, then we might have a set of gear that already fits properly, and then that
Right,
gets
if you
issued.
waited to come before us for a budget amendment to get that turnout gear, then you have the delay of, it sounds like multiple months of actually
Yes.
getting it in. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for explaining this.
I'm going part-time. Do they bring their turnout
So-
gear with them?
So there is an agreement with all the fire departments that, since we mostly have the same insurance company, VFIS, that if they ruin their gear, then our insurance company would cover the cost of that department's gear, and vice versa, because the majority of our staff do work part-time at other fire departments as well.
On the turnout gear, I'm just trying to figure this out from based on last year's, when I was questioning about uniform.
Mhm.
Because last year, you know, it was at 60,000, now it jumped up to 92,000. And at that time, you said that the turnout gear was tweening about, from my notes from last year, that is about $2,700. And the turnout gear obviously would last, 5 to 10 years.
Mhm.
So looking at the numbers here, we've got 28 firemen. I can see we've got to have some new gear each year, but why would we need 8 sets when, if you're looking at it's going to last 10 years, that's 80 sets over a 10-year period. Why don't we just do 3 sets?
So we lost a cache during the hurricane. We lost our turnout gear that was in the basement. When the basement flooded, so we don't have any extra sets. And it's also now required that firefighters have 2 sets of turnout gear. So if they fight a fire, that gear has to be washed and decontaminated from the carcinogens. So while it's getting decontaminated, they already have a second set ready to go in case we had 2 fires back to back.
How did the gear get lost firefighters deal with water. How did the gear get ruined if it's just got water?
It wasn't just water. All those floodwaters had contaminants in it. Backed up, we have MSD pipes that run through here during the floods. All that sewage went into the water. Fuels from people's homes, loose gas cans.
What is this
you name it.
wildland gear?
The wildland gear is the gear that we use to fight wildland fire.
Why can't we use the regular gear?
That's for structural firefighting only, and it's designed as such. You put a firefighter in structural turnout gear and put them into the woods, they'll be overheated, exhausted because of the weight of the gear. So wildland firefighting gear is more of a Nomex material that's incorporated into the shirt and the pants for protection. It's a lighter weight so they can maneuver.
But that's not safe for them to wear using,
It's not recommended, nor is
structure.
it its purpose. The gear is specifically designed for structural firefighting to keep them protected inside of a house where the environments can be up to 8,000 degrees. So,
When we start looking at the cost on these, like shirts and pants and t-shirts, I mean, $35 for a t-shirt. It's an all cotton t-shirt, I would assume,
Mhm.
have to be all cotton.
Mhm.
Pants are all cotton.
for the most part,
That's a lot of money when you consider how that we're buying in quantity.
it is.
I mean, I bought a lot of t-shirts for a lot of different things.
And these t-shirts are our duty shirts. So the t-shirts aren't just a plain t-shirt. They're the t-shirt that we have to take down to the printer over here and have the logos put on. So
Anyway,
there's that cost.
That's a pretty high number for printing a t-shirt.
Yes.
It's high.
Oh, I know. Everything has
I
increased.
think you can get it done for less money than that.
If anyone has suggestions on where
No, we're getting.
this is, yeah,
If you to us, and what we're just trying to do is to question, you know, because the
Yeah.
public is questioning us.
Right.
So why are we paying $35 per t-shirt?
because we shopped around and that was the cheapest I could find.
I respectfully disagree on that, sir.
If you have a suggestion, I am always open. All right, moving down to professional license and certification dues. These are certification and license memberships that are required for each firefighter that obtains these certifications to maintain and keep. So that I have it listed specifically the number of people that hold each of these certifications. So that number is to the exact penny.
It's that, those particular memberships and stuff, is that set by the state or is that set by the North Carolina Firefighters Association?
So the North Carolina Firefighters Association is regulated by the state, and the state does mandate
But they make
membership.
the rules.
Yes,
The state does.
the state,
The firefighters make the rules on that.
it's a joint with state legislation. So general statute does state that we are to participate in the NCSFA membership.
Okay, and so we end up having all these memberships in here.
Mhm.
How does this affect the quality of firefighting?
The membership is required to be on the roster to be a firefighter. So if you're not on the roster, you cannot join the fire department
But you have to be on all these rosters.
to maintain these
We've got
different certifications. Yes.
12, 15 different organizations. I can see belonging to a couple of organizations, yeah, but we spend this money on all these organizations.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I know we're spending it.
Yes.
To say, do we have to spend it?
Yes. Yes, to maintain the
As-
certifications.
As that set up by the North Carolina Firefighters Association.
So if you want professionals, certified professionals, this is what guarantees you the certification of the quality of the employees that you have here at the Black Mountain Fire Department.
Bill, does that impact the insurance rates or are those not directly related?
So some do, some can.
Some of these factor in when
Yes.
insurance determines the,
But for the ISO rating, yes, but this also helps us with grants. And it also, some of the membership fees are also help with a reduction in our educational cost as well.
Every department you have, you know, they participate in their professional organizations. They all have certain, certifications and testing they try. Don't do each year. It's just you got 30 people in this budget, so your number's a lot larger. When you look at some of the other department heads where you only got maybe, 2 people in that department, it's a smaller number because you got fewer people, but when you got 30 firemen, I mean, you're gonna have a higher cost.
Well,
I am
And
curious,
no-
the first one has a 60 next to it.
That is the base membership fee through the NCSFA that is required by the state to be a member of a fire department. So that is just everyone from a volunteer to,
Okay.
yeah, you have to be a member of the NCSFA to be insured, to be part of any fire department in North Carolina.
But in this case, the number 60 represents, that's just kind of their lowest grouping,
No, that's how many people we have on our roster.
including,
The
That's the
volunteers,
cost
the
of it.
retirees. Yeah, that is the total cost for everyone that is on the roster.
And to follow on what Richard said, I can understand each department's got their own organizations they belong to.
Yes.
But I'm just wondering, why do we have to belong to 12 different organizations?
It depends on that particular person. On their skill set. Everyone's different. Well, just because we hire a firefighter doesn't mean that they're an eligible fire officer or an engineer. They have to obtain the education to get those certifications. Once you get that certification, there's a cost to maintain those certifications.
A couple of those too, you got fire marshal, that'd be, that would be in a different group as compared to the firefighters.
And again, 1 or 2 or 3, 5. Well. It's amazing
It's just part of the professional development.
to be debated.
Moving on to training and education. So the training line item is not a supplemental expense. It's the backbone of the fire department's operational performance, risk management, and community protection strategy. So every positive outcome we report, fast response times, rapid fire containment, reduced property loss, low injury rates, and strong interagency coordination is a direct result of consistent high-level training. The training line item funds mandatory state continuing education, specialized rescue and training, officer development, command training, and what's also included in this is the per diem and lodging that's required for offsite instruction. There is an increased cost in hotel costs. So there is, that's why I was asking for an increase in the training as well. IT services, let's see where we're at here. So IT services, there's an increase there only for laptop replacement. For contract services, I've got that down to where we 33,000 of that is the report responder services that was approved last year for mental health for the firefighters. So that's where that increased cost comes from.
How many other, that's through what agency?
It's called report.
Yeah, I mean, where, I mean, is that a hospital? Is that a?
No,
is that
that's
a doctor's office? Is that
that is a
counseling?
counseling center that's local here in Reynolds, and over in the Reynolds is where their main office is. But they specialize in first responder mental health support.
What did we do last year?
It was, for some reason, when that was presented to budget, it was in the initial budget, but I'm not sure what happened there. It was after the approval that I brought it to the town manager's attention that it was approved, but the money was not in the line item. So he had come back to y'all and made a budget amendment for that.
I think last December.
Yes.
But that didn't show up in there. Didn't show up in the figures here, I mean, from what we're looking at, 26.
Right. Not from the initial, it was amended.
So where would that figure show
Maybe I'm not following it.
up? If the budget
Probably
amended,
reason that
we'd
is,
have to have it in there, and if it was in there and the council passed it, it would be reflected in the total activity.
several of
26.
some of those budget amendments weren't done down until this month. And I think that was actually one of them, so.
More input.
Yeah.
So it's not showing up as total activity from this current budget yet,
Yeah,
but it has
you approved it, but then you know, the actual budget amendment didn't get.
prior to, yeah, it wasn't done prior.
No,
It's true with looking at some of the budgets that are on the website, you go back
Yeah.
5 years, you'll look, you know, that was amended, but that amendment
Yeah.
doesn't show up, it's not. There's a good bit of that in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and see, this budget program, whatever day you print, Tom, this report, that's what. It only shows up what's there that day. So,
What is ACS? Cloud event.
That is the company that recertifies our exhaust system in the bays. So when you park a truck for part of to reduce hazard in the building with exhaust fumes, that system plugs into the exhaust pipe of the truck and sucks it out of the building. They've had that system in there before I started working here, but it gets serviced and recertified
So
by
basically, it's
company.
just, that's just a service call for them
Yeah.
to come out and look at it.
well, it's a maintenance agreement.
Yeah, it's a maintenance agreement and
Look at it.
also
Certified.
extended warranty is included in that as well.
When you drive off, it automatically disconnects and you don't have to unhook it yourself, so.
Any other questions on contract services? Right, moving on to IT software license. We're actually decreasing that cost there from we're going to be switching vendors for our RMS system, so that was a little more cost effective for us. Other than that, moving on to,
But wait a minute,
oh, go
I
ahead.
haven't reduced anything. It's the same. It was budgeted last year at 15, it's budgeted this year at 15.
It was budgeted at 27 last year, this year's 24,
That's not
90.
We're up a line item, I think.
You know, page 95,
Looking at 94.
yeah, 95, you were at technology and software license, you were at 27 this budget year, and for next year's 24, 190.
So we dropped it about almost 3,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you explain maybe why it went from, in 25, it went from 3,000 up to, that's about a 800% increase.
Which line item are we talking?
Same thing.
The IT?
Going back to the last year's budget, and it was, you spent 3,000 on it, and then this past year, we spent $24,000.
24, 25 budget. You
Oh,
35.
Okay. That was when we were doing the budget, the budget director at the time, where we were pulling funds for those programs. She had me move the IT software into this line item because before we were taking it out of IT services. So that was just a recommendation from the.
Why I can look at, I start tabulating things up again.
That's only because of the replacement of the laptops that we have. Any questions on the IT or on the software? All right, bank service charges and fees went up a couple $100. That's just from the set rates from the bank. Let's see, electricity, our utilities are obviously going up, water's going up. The the basic increases from Duke and everything else that we don't have control of. Go down. Utilities, water, cell phone stipend has not changed. That is still the same. R&M building that was put in prior to when this budget was turned in February. We were not anticipating the current situation we're in with the building now. So I will hold off on the building R&M and let the town manager do what he needs with that, with those numbers. But for R&M equipment,
I'll go back onto this because I just want to stated in here the age of these buildings.
yes,
I would say Station 2, 90-year-old building renovated 30 years ago. That's not a 90-year-old building over there. That building was built back in the late 60s, by the Clevenger sock factory. They used to live beside it when it was built. Then they added on about 20 years later, which is now they added the warehouse on, and that's exactly where your fire station is.
okay,
So that's not accurate. And also too, when we just say that the building is 90 years old, I get the impression that you're trying to say, well, we gotta get a new building, because it's so old. There are buildings around this world that are a whole lot older than that. If we have to have repairs done to them, no problem. But the fact that, that we keep talking about that these buildings are decrepit, I don't think is the right way to discuss them. And that's not correct information there.
so the 90-year-old came off of the property card that's registered with Buncombe County.
Well, then it's a wrong proper property, because I lived beside that building when it was being built in the late 60s.
It's gonna be clear. It's all right, we got it cleared up.
All right, moving on to M&R equipment. That's only went up, I think just a couple $100, mostly with the 20% increase in just inflation with the vendors that do the maintenance. M&R vehicle, requesting an increase there just to the constant situation we have with our vehicles going into the shop. Just to let council know, our primary engine has went into the shop 3 times within the past month for coolant issues. And that truck was bought in 2019. It's not even 10 years old yet. And we're continually having problems. It was sent off back to the manufacturer just a few months ago and was down there for probably about a month before we got it back for repairs that fortunately the manufacturer covered.
That was to the chassis.
Yes, which we still have problems with. It's just poor design.
But we're stuck with paying for it.
Well, it's already paid for, but yes, we're stuck with the, yes, exactly. Exactly. Let's see, janitorial supplies, I don't believe I asked for an increase there. Going to medical supplies, so there is an increase in medical supplies only because the cost of medications have gone up as well. Technology, materials, and supplies. That covers printer, toner ink, replacement cables and adapters, chargers, minor RT hardware replacements, and other technological related training materials. Let's see.
Especially operating supplies.
Yeah, sorry, I lost my place. Specialty operating supplies are just materials that I can't classify in any other line item budget that are specific to the fire service. What that covers is the specialty operating equipment, as covers our technical rope rescue, confined space gear, trench rescue systems, and shoring equipment, hazardous material monitoring and mitigation tools, and collapse rescue equipment. Let's see, non-capital equipment and furniture on page,
Get back up on that one there.
which one?
What is this with the type 3 water rescue PFD? I know that's vertical flotation devices.
So type 3. So type 3 water rescue, PFDs are the personal flotation devices, which are the vests. That's just the type for them that we use in the fire service is a type 3.
But I mean, we're not on the lake, we're not on the ocean. Could understand having.
No, but we were surrounded completely by floodwaters almost 2 years ago.
You can have some, yeah. So, again, you present all this stuff to us. You're trying to make us say, yet you put us in a position that we've got to go ahead and if we don't agree to it, then we're not agreeing to safety. And that's a terrible position to put a board in. That, you know, you're constantly asking for more and more and more and more. And I mean, and yet, if this board doesn't agree with it, then we're being perceived as being not being safe. It's up to the board. They're obviously going to do what they need to do.
Apologies, I lost my place again. Okay, non-capital equipment and furniture. That has been reduced because of the request that we had last year. That was a one-time cost. This year, we've reduced it from 40,000 down to 11,000. We're only asking for minor tools for the new truck that we're getting in September, for the mini pumper, and there was a request for a fire investigation camera. Fuel cost, I'm sorry.
Grant
See.
expenses.
Ma'am, sorry.
The grant expenses. Non-capital grant expenses, 6,000. I'm not sure I remember what that's about, but like, we must have talked about it last year, but
At the bottom of page 100.
just under the non-capital equipment and furniture.
52,598. Is your line number? Your line.
I've only seen that page.
That was. the
Oh,
grant.
I see it. Yes.
That was the grant.
Last year. Yes.
You said 598.
Yeah. The grant expense, the $6,000 in there now is just in case we are able to get a grant writer. So usually there's an expense there. And right now the going rate from when we were getting quotes to try and get some assistance for grant writing was around $3,000 per grant. Leased equipment, I don't believe that has changed either. Trying to see where we're at now. Sorry, let's see.
One, there's fuel.
Okay, sorry. Fuel cost, again, just as like everyone else, we can't anticipate what fuel costs are going to look like throughout the year. They may go even higher or lower depending on the current situation. Via VFIS liability is going up. Most all insurance rates have gone up over the past couple of years. This is no different. Safety and compliance, that is our gas detection, calibration, decontaminating supplies, infection control, and any scope of work that needs to be covered for OSHA compliance. Emergency preparedness and disaster. I believe that we cut some down there. Was originally asking for 10, but we compromised down to 7.5.
Do we have any handheld phones, battery operated, that are not dependent upon the Viper system that went down?
Any phones, like satellite phones?
Handheld?
We don't own any cellular phones in our department.
Why can't we, I mean, if that's emergency preparedness, and that's one of the things that I brought up before, is that during the hurricane, we didn't have any satellites and we couldn't communicate. But if you have just regular handheld phones, you know, you can at least go 1 to 2 to 5 miles.
So the phones were dependent on cell tower. Whether me and you are sitting right here, it still has to hit a tower and come back to you.
There is an option to have a handheld. That's what I'm saying. Why can't we
Yeah.
get that?
Well, we-
That couldn't be- They're not that.
You mean a radio? Is that what you're talking about?
You talking about radios,
Yeah,
not a phone, it's the radio.
Just-
Okay, now I'm more clear. Yeah, no, we have received some grants through David Billstrom on our CERT team. Has received numerous grants through to upgrade our or our radio tower on Allen Mountain. So that has been, yes, so that has been hardened to where hopefully the next time we have a disaster like this, we shouldn't, in theory, have any communication issues.
8% of y'all moves up.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing, we don't have anything. So that there's, if you go ahead and if you have a child in the crib, you're in the other room, you can hear the child cry. That's the type of system that I'm talking about, a very simple communication from one point to another point, operated by a battery.
I think he's referring to the radios that like my daughters have that go across the, you know,
Yeah,
hang out the.
Radios can do that. They can do direct.
But there again, they're dependent upon the cell tower you just said.
Not in that capability. If me and Chief Bingham back here want to talk to each other on our radios, we can go on a direct channel and it will hit radio to radio just as long as it's in line of sight.
And that capacity was unaffected during Lee. That capacity was still there.
Line of sight, yes, we had that capacity until we lost the power from the batteries because we had no electricity.
But we had generators that could generate, recharge batteries if we'd have had that. I also we have that now.
Yes.
In our
You got a couple
emergency,
satellites.
So
on
that-
this too,
so that even if we're not using satellites, and even if we do lose electricity, we can generate our own electricity to recharge the battery.
Yeah, we have Starlinks now.
I saw the Starlink in it, yeah.
And we pay them. So we maintain those Starlinks as well. All right, community outreach and public relations. I lost my place again. Let's see, here we go. We were asking for 5,000. We went back down to the 4,000 based on the budget constraints of the town. But let's see, and the miscellaneous expenses is at $750. Capital outlay for the vehicles. So we had the money there for the mini pumper that was approved by the budget or by the council for the budget 2 years ago. From what I was told, the money was taken out to use to balance the budget somewhere else. Our current assistant town manager, interim town manager, has been helping me find a loan so we can pay for this truck that's coming in September. But this was all decisions from out of my control to where that money was moved out of that line item.
A couple of years ago, when you got a new truck,
Mhm.
we didn't pay for it.
Right, we got
We got a
the,
loan.
we got the loan.
And yet the board at the time was told it was gonna be paying for the trucks. And then it was a new amendment came to say, oh, let's don't pay for the truck, let's take the money. Let's go ahead and borrow the money. So, and then that's one of the reasons why you talked him into getting another truck. That we would have this money. Now we don't have that money. And yet we're supposed to be getting a third, this will be a third truck, right?
Second truck since I've been here.
Well, since you've been, here, but I mean, 3 trucks that are within the 20 years, 25-year life limit.
Couldn't tell you, other than I think the one truck was purchased in 2019, then the one that we purchased in 2023, and then this one that's coming.
But before that, though, we've got another truck that has not met the 25-year limit that the state doesn't puts on. So that means we're gonna have 3 trucks. I'm just saying, this is one way that we can try to go ahead and address this budget shortfall that we got. We could go ahead and say, well, we put $75,000 down on the truck. We could say, take that truck and sell it to somebody else and put us on the order so we can get one in 2 years when we can afford it. We don't have the money.
Well, that truck was a special order truck. I don't know if you expect it based on your needs. Yes,
The way these firefighters, the way these things are backed up, someone to take out my heartbeat.
That truck is scheduled to replace a 30-year-old.
We have something in between the 30-year-old and our 2019.
Totally different operation.
I remember, before ordering this truck, we did a full fleet analysis on the fire department and looked at all the, there are a number of vehicles, they all serve different purposes. Some of them serve multiple purposes. Some of them don't have the capacity to reach certain parts of town and parts of the community. And, at the time, yeah, I honestly can't remember exactly what this truck, which this serves, but I remember at the time there was a lot of debate and a lot of analysis around what our needs were. And that's why we decided to fund this truck.
Yes.
But
This
that's
will be a,
use the fact that we can go ahead and get, we can our vehicles. We can get in where we need to get.
I'm not arguing with that, but equipment does need to be replaced in order to maintain that status of being able to get where we need to get.
The only difference in this truck, we've proposed to finance it with a 59-month lease, which does not require LGC approval. If you go over 5 years, you got to go to the LGC and say, we want to borrow this money over a 10-year period. They have to approve it and determine your financial situation. I don't think you need to be going before the LGC right now. So.
Am I missing it, or do we have the rate on that somewhere here?
It's on page 105. Down at the bottom, the first
Oh, thank you.
one there is your truck. That you bought in 24, and the second one there estimated $475,000 is the one that'll be delivered in September. But we think that may be closer to $450,000 instead of $475,000. So that principal payment may be $76,000 instead of the 83. We're still working on quotes from the banks and the rates and all that, so we'll have that.
So we'll get a chance to talk about this more.
Yeah.
All right, for capital outlay motorized equipment, we were requesting a drone, but considering the financial situation of the town, I'm anticipating that will probably be one of your next cuts. And last is the capital outlay furnishings and non-motorized equipment. We were requesting $30,000 for a cardiac monitor that we do not have, that we desperately have been needing. A rescue combi tool, which are the tools needed to extricate victims from wrecked vehicles.
Have that.
Hmm?
And we've never had one.
No, we have one. It's just we had one donated recently, a tool. The tool that we've had for a very long time is just, it's outlived its use. The maintenance is starting to become more costly than what it needs to be to maintain the tools.
But with this budget constraint, how come we can't just get another year out of it and pay a little bit more to maintain it?
We can do our best if necessary. We can take off the bed replacements considering the current situation with the building. And then there was a request for 3 more handheld radios. Radios are very expensive. Just 3 radios is $15,000. And then the replacement of fire hose, $20,000 for that. There's also some extra added expense for, or not, I'm sorry, not added. I have it broke down for the fire hose on the cost per foot, the size, diameter, and length. Just so that's justified for you all. Any other questions?
I don't know, just looking at that 2.5 inch hose, 400 feet. Average cost $500 to $650. Even if you went at $650, you're $2,600 instead of $3,900. And then is that a 4-inch supply line or a 6-inch supply line? On page 105, you got 6 inches.
We put 6-inch just only because that was the only from the hose manufacturer that we buy from. That was the only thing that was listed. But obviously these are just best educated guesses on what the cost would be. That's the unfortunate thing about when we present our budgets is the cost of this equipment is listed what it is now. It's not guaranteed that that's going to be the cost in July. That's the unfortunate thing we battle every year.
Well, we have a budget here from the fire department. That unfortunately, is not helping us with that.
You circling back around, I mean, you're.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break.
Well,
How
how long
long
do
do
you
you
go?
want to go to that?
I thought we were only up to 10:30.
What's the time limit here,
Oh,
folks?
Uh,
How long can y'all stay?
uh,
I wasn't planning on going past 10:30.
Yeah, I was,
yeah,
that's what I thought as well, Alice.
same.
I mean, I'm trying to take a 2-minute break if we need it, but. Oh,
Okay. Awesome.
deal. I'll use it then.
You start dodging now. Now, let's go ahead and set some budget meetings in the next 2 weeks. And we also need to set a meeting probably for the 29th or 30th of June. And we're
My
gonna
preference
have,
would be the 30th.
we're gonna have a lot of budget amendments we're gonna have to do at the end of the month to get you back into balance.
Okay.
We'll still be working on it probably up to that date, so. I'm sure you got 2 weeks between June 1st and June 15th. I think it's, we'll probably need one more budget minute, one more budget meeting to go through the budget. Then I think you need at least, 2 meetings to discuss what you're gonna change, what are your options on reducing costs and what your tax rate's gonna be and all that. So I'd say at least 3 meetings.
I'd like to look just to kind of space them out if we could to next week, maybe early in the week, then maybe we tag something onto the agenda meeting on Thursday.
Sounds good.
Which will be the 4th.
Oh, and I just said that, but I'll
It
figure
is.
I'll figure something out. And then we'll have
That's
our
your budget
monthly
review
meeting on,
meeting now.
sorry,
The 4th is your budget review
yes.
meeting.
And then we have our regular meeting on the 8th, and then maybe something later in the week. Like the 11th or 12th. Oh, you're not the 12th.
Right.
The 11th for now.
What do we got for next week? Let's get that one started. First of the week, what do people,
Well, you've got the meeting on the 4th, which it shouldn't take that long. So you could add a budget.
Yeah,
and
let's do that.
workshop
Let's
meeting.
do that, yeah.
I'm on the 4th,
all right, so we got the 4th.
since you gotta be here anyway.
What time is that?
You're just following
9
the
o'clock
agenda
is-
meeting,
After the agenda.
following the agenda meeting. Just go do agenda straight up.
That's gonna be Thursday.
Yes, probably 5:30.
5:30.
Your regular meeting's on the 9th, and this is probably gonna be long like all the others have
Yeah.
been. So maybe the 10th or the 11th.
What about the 11th, 8:30 in the morning?
That works.
And do you want to squeeze one in like the 2nd
Probably should,
of
I
June?
would think.
Yeah, early next week. The 2nd, I need to be done by 9, like I need to be walking out the door at 9:15. Unless I can move a client, but it's really not my preference to have to do that.
What date are you looking at?
That would be the 2nd.
How
The
about the
first of the
1st?
morning, could do.
That's Monday.
Mhm.
All right,
Or the
Everybody.
evening. What do y'all think?
Sure.
June 1st.
June 1st, 8:30.
Okay.
So we got June 1st, 8:30, June 4th after the agenda meeting. And then the 11th.
Is the 10th possible instead of the 11th? Sorry to do that, guys.
Yep, I could do that.
Hold on one
Fine,
second.
the 10th.
Let me look.
Yeah, I can't be here the morning of the 10th.
Afternoon.
Yeah, I could do the afternoon.
Doug,
I can't.
you can,
Yeah, for me.
okay.
All right.
Thursday, the 11th in the afternoon, is that any better?
Yeah, I could do any time.
Yeah. The 11th afternoon,
Yeah.
I could do.
The 11th at 5, what time? 5:30, 5?
Do it at 5.
11th at 5.
You got all this wasted.
The morning of the 11th would, let's just do that if we can.
Oh,
I can shift it around. I can make
So we're gonna leave it at the 8:30?
8:30. Wednesday, the 11th.
8:30 or 11.
Yeah, this is why we do it via email, I think, but
just sent out an email today, and we can all confirm that we have the same things written down. I
Good.
think that might be easiest.
Yes, thank you.
but 8:30 on the 11th. That's the plan, right?
8:30, 11th, 8:30 first. Regular meeting after the agenda meeting.
Afternoon, yeah. So that gives us 2 meetings a week, including the regular
Yeah.
session meeting.
And your public hearing on the 15th. And, could we go ahead and schedule a meeting for either the 29th or the 30th?
I thought we did the 30th.
We hadn't set a time, but I said that would be my preference. I'm not gonna be available all day on the 29th.
Public hearing 15.
Is it just budget amendments? Is that
Yeah.
what? So just kind of cleaning up?
Yeah, it shouldn't take long. I mean, you're gonna have to, trust us. I don't know, we can spend hours going over every one of them.
30th
At the- at-
30th at what time?
30.
8:30?
Yeah, it's fine.
Mhm.
Set aside an hour and a half, you think?
I'd say less than 30 minutes probably. I mean, what they are, we gotta cover what's been paid, so.
Less than 30 minutes. Come on.
Can we get those in advance just to, I mean, I know you gotta do it.
Yeah, I hope we can, yeah.
All right. Do we want to do planning or adjourn?
And planning shouldn't take but just a few minutes.
Let's
do
see
that.
where we can get to.
All right, let's get through it.
All right, page 106. Your permits fees should generate about $425,000. That basically covers the cost of your two inspectors. Your inspection fees have to be kept separate. It has to go towards building inspections and costs.
Inspector.
Yes, sir, you got two full-time inspectors.
We got 2 full-time inspectors.
I mean, moving forward, what you gotta watch if your inspections drop.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you don't
This
generate
is,
that.
this
It's
is
kind of, you need
predicated
to
on
go
the
back. to-
economy,
Yeah.
which our economy
Oh, yeah,
is
very
okay,
much so.
but
Yeah.
could fall.
So that's something you gotta watch. I mean, if you're not bringing in the income, you don't need, that number you can't afford to inspectors. And I don't think you've got but like a $58,000 fund balance in this account, Don't have a lot of funds you can draw on. And again, the town share is $241,916, and that makes up your $667,000. Turning over to page 109. Your building inspectors and your planning zoning administrator and administrative assistant and your planning director. Are the salaries paid for out of this budget.
Who is the building inspector code enforcement? Building inspector refers to Rick, we have.
Then we have Brody McAfee, he's our second inspector and code enforcement officer.
Moving right along, on page 110, professional services, we got $15,000, and that's where your attorney deals with zoning and board of adjustment cases and all that. I mean, you really don't know what that cost will be every year. You're just kind of guessing as to how much you'll need them for those services. Technology and software license, GovWell Technologies is their software package they use for all the inspections and the other stuff. That cost is about $26,000. One half of it's paid for out of this budget. And you have a separate technology fund budget where there's a fee that's tied to all building inspection permits. And that fee goes into a separate technology fund, and that technology fund pays the other share of the software cost.
I think that one thing that we need to be able to look at, because I am ignorant of it. How much money that we spend on technology, fees, licenses. As best I can tell from looking at our technology fund there, which is $286,000. And we start putting technology for all the different departments. We're almost $600,000.
You spend a lot of money on software.
And I'm not sure that anybody knows.
Magnificent
If
technology.
we all know, can explain it to know where all this goes, that's great, but I just think that's something right there that needs to have some eyeballs on it.
Well, you got the financial
Well,
software.
yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
explain the details, but I do think this is where our tech giants are making their millions and billions. I
Exactly.
think this is-
But I'm thinking that we could challenge that in what we're doing, as opposed to just simply saying, yeah, we'll just pay it. Wow.
It'd be good if they had more
Nobody's looked at it.
competitors, you know, I mean, I think this is a.
Well, but I mean, but somehow we gotta get, I don't know whether we need to set it up as a committee. I
Go
think we need to
well.
look at that $600,000 expenditure.
Yeah. See, GovWell, if you look at that, I mean, that's the software package they went to a few years ago. You know, so you got a lot of time invested in all of your data, is within that software package. So if you want to switch for a cheaper one, or you want to switch to a different.
No, I'm
I
not
mean, it's a
saying that you
major-
gotta switch to a
Pass.
gas one from that. I'm trying to say, is some of these packages that we're using, are we just duplicating services that we don't need? That this particular package may be able to do what we're paying somebody else to do in other departments.
I don't think this package would work with the other.
Okay, I'm just asking the question. because
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't think you really
$600,000.
have that many options, because each department has different functions and they're having to use different software. We're looking at all of our software packages. I think Wesley mentioned that was about $5,000, and he said we could probably do away with that one. So we're still looking at it. I mean, your IT budget, a large portion of that goes to advanced data systems, and he's gonna be here Tuesday. Wesley and I are gonna meet with him and see what options we have there. So we're trying to look at all of them.
Thank you.
Okay, I mean, I'm just saying that
Yeah.
it's, we gotta cut the budget.
You know, just like everything, y'all be looking at everything every once in a while. I mean, just cause you're using that now, maybe there is a better option. Maybe there is a
Good degree.
cheaper option, but don't get used to it just cause that's what you've always done. And I think that's the major expenditures in their budget. Any questions on planning and come in development? All right, page 114 is your technology fund. And there, the anticipated expenditure of that GovWell software, we're paying $16,000 out of this budget and $13,000 out of the plan budget. So that's a $29,000 software package that you pay on an annual basis.
So Richard, I'm confused. Is this specific to the planning department?
Yes.
They have a separate fund under their heading.
You could probably
Yeah, so,
speak on that software.
yeah, so the technology fee is a 6% charge that is charged to all of our permits. That is to help offset the cost of permitting software. I will say that software does our building permits, our planning and zoning permits, everything from your special use variance, zoning applications, does our code enforcement, also does our stormwater. So it has all 4 modules for us. And when we went to this software a few years ago, they built it to our needs, so it meets our subscription.
And is it currently meeting your needs?
It is, yes.
$29,000 worth of meeting our needs, so. Man, that's everything until we get into water.
Yeah. We need a bunch of time in water to get that messed up operation. Back, anything else you want to say before we close?
Glad we have a vision for the next month and how we're gonna get there.
You should know what your dates are.
Yeah.
Meeting adjourned.